Hello everybody and welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I am TheOutbackAl.
I'm hot for justice.
I'm Yin&Jung.
I'm Chibi Noob.
I'm NV Jitters.
I'm CheerandCosplay.
And I'm Kozi.
And it's the first Sunday of October. Spooky season is upon us. It's time to look at some horrifying things. Or as horrifying as they can get in anime. I was never particularly horrified by anything that I've seen in anime. Anywho, we watched another this week, or got a refresher on another. A lot of us have seen this anime, I think. What's everybody's history with this?
I mean, I've told this story before on the podcast, but Another and Madoka Magica were like the first anime I've ever seen, not counting Pokemon when I was a kid. So like, these were my... Everyone says their gateway anime is like Dragon Ball Z or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or stuff like that. My gateway anime was Final Destination and Demented Magical Girls.
Well, I'm very sorry for you. How about everybody else?
I mean, I watched this at the same time as Envy. Granted, this is not my gateway anime, but I will say it is definitely an interesting anime to start with as like the first anime that we got to watch in Anime Club.
Oh boy.
Because I'm pretty sure, like, we played them 3 episodes of Another and then 3 episodes of Madoka.
Yep.
And that's how it worked.
That was a fun night.
Yeah,
Depressing
it was an
year is what
interesting
that
night.
was. I think I was there. I think I remember it.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I
I think
No, it was a year before you.
It was before my time.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was like our freshman year.
I'd just like to say, every time that we bring up the first time we watched Madoka Magica, I called that Mammy was going to die and the QB was evil in episode 1.
Yep.
Okay, keep going. Who else?
I saw it on my own accord. I was just watching anime randomly in high school, and it looked interesting. But it's been a very long time, obviously, because I was in high school. I really liked it, though. It was one of my favorite horror animes. So, yeah.
Literally the same thing as Ian. Literally the same thing. So, it was one of my favorite animes, periods, but I haven't watched it in a while, so... Except for refreshing myself for it now. But,
Right,
you know.
same. It's like I forgot almost everything, so definitely needed to watch the first 3 episodes again.
I also watched it in high school when it came out. I don't actually think I like it plot-wise that much, but the memes that came out of it, top tier. Thank God the pie is safe. Should I tell my story?
Sure.
Yes, you have to tell the story.
This is like the only thing I have to contribute to this episode. So I was in the same college year as half of the people here. But our freshman year, I did not go to anime club. I was like, I don't like anime. You can't make me. I just hung out with them outside of club. So I did not watch it in club with everybody. But the next year, when they did finally sink me, they were like, okay, one of the ones you missed last year was called Another. It was super disturbing. I'm still traumatized from it. And I guess I watched it on my own. But I do not remember watching it. I don't remember a thing about it. I only remember about a semester later. So only a few months, really. I was humming the theme song constantly. And I was like, what is this song I keep humming? And somebody was like, it's the theme song for Another. I'm like, how do I know it? I haven't even seen Another. And they were like, yes, you did. I was in the room while you were watching it. And then the other piece of proof that I know that I watched it is I was apparently live texting Kozi as I was watching it. And I remember later bringing up that I hadn't seen it. And she was like, yes, you have. You were texting me the whole time. You called out who the person was. I don't want to spoil it. You called out.
It's been out for years.
Yeah, it's like 13 years old.
Oh,
All right, great.
yeah.
Spoiler territory.
Yeah, we can
Like,
save
you knew
spoilers.
it was the end. You called it like halfway through.
Yeah, we can save spoilers for now, but we'll get to it.
And I'm like, I don't even remember what the ant did, but okay. Go me, I guess.
Okay, never
So, like,
mind. We're already there.
You just said it was okay, whatever.
I said we could save
Anyway.
spoilers for later for people who haven't seen it, but... Okay.
This whole episode's a spoiler.
Well, I don't even remember what she did or how she was tied to the story. I just know it was the aunt.
Okay.
So this anime apparently traumatized everybody, but it left so little of an impression on me that I don't even remember watching it.
Who's this everybody? I wasn't
Yeah,
traumatized by
you said
shit.
you're traumatized.
I wouldn't say I was traumatized, because honestly, like, I hardly remember half the stuff that happened.
Dude, I found this show
I
more...
remember.
Go
I
ahead.
remember liking it a lot because, again, I was new to anime. I was just like, wow, look at this animation. Look at this new form of storytelling for me. And also, I was also laughing at how ridiculous it was at times, especially towards the latter half of the series, because if there's
Hell
one
yeah.
thing that this series is known for, it's its deaths.
Yeah.
I find this series, honestly, and this just might be me, I find this series more funny than scary. I really don't find a whole lot of any anime scary to me. I mean, I find some things a little ugh sometimes. I mean, that the Junji Ito thing we watched last year with the grease. I hate that grease shit.
No, don't bring that up. Don't bring that up.
That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Don't bring that up again.
That bugged me. That bugged me. That was the closest I ever got to actually having like a really like response to anime.
I feel like for whatever reason, like with Junji Ito, it actually does feel creepier reading it.
I'm sure it does, because I think we mentioned that at least with the art and that,
Maybe
like,
it's because of the art.
yeah, I think there was more line work in the books, and there's also it just worked better on the page, I think. Plus, you can kind of create your own pacing a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
that's why sometimes
yeah.
I feel like, yeah, I agree. I haven't watched any animes that actually made me scared.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about them, but...
Yeah. If you want to know more, go back and watch our Junji Ito. We reviewed the whole series, so you can go back and check out our thoughts on that. Honestly, check it out. It's a pretty good series. But for this series, I mean, the main fun of it is just, like, watching the crazy ways people die. I honestly had a lot of fun watching it back in the day, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
It's morbid as hell, but you know, when you've seen as many horror movies as like you and me have, it's like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
we know exactly who's gonna die and when.
One of the most famous deaths in the show just makes everyone think, okay, can we ban pointed umbrellas, please?
Oh god, that was one of the
Yeah.
Episode 3.
That
That was
was
like the first
Yeah.
death.
That was
Yeah.
the first death.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Didn't
would
they
not
It was-
show all the
really-
deaths in the opening?
Yeah.
That could happen.
They did.
Yeah. It's one of here's the
But
thing. It's
it
one of
could
those
be that
things.
pointy.
It could be that pointy. And honestly, your eyes are very soft.
No, it was her
like-
throat. It went through
Oh,
her
It was
throat.
her throat, yeah.
I thought it went through her eye.
If it went
No.
through her
I'm
eye, I'd
mistaken.
be like, absolutely. But it went through her throat.
Okay, well, again, you have this situation of, like, you're putting basically your entire body weight on your throat onto a single
Maybe.
small point. It doesn't have to be extremely sharp. It'll go through. But the
Yeah.
actual odds of... It's the Final Destination thing. It's the odds of you tripping in that exact way, that the umbrella falls ahead of you, opens in a specific way, and lands in just the right way to aim that exact shot is very, very unlikely. Deaths after you.
And I will admit, I'm not superstitious, but our college that we went to was notorious for its elevators because of how cramped they were. So every time we got into an elevator at our college, I'm thinking, oh no, is what happened in the anime going to happen with us?
How many went out in that elevator? Was it just one or was it a couple people?
Just one.
Just the one? Okay, yeah. They do go pretty slow and monotonous with the... Well, not monotonous, but they go pretty slow with the kills in this.
It was the nurse.
Right. We should get to the plot and why people are dying. So, there's a kid who goes to this school. He transfers in, and he talks to a girl who's got an eye patch, and then people start dying because of that. The longer explanation is that years and years ago, that there was a full class at this high school. One of the students died, but I guess they never moved on, and now they keep trying to be in that class. So people die, and death follows this spirit around, because there's an extra person in every class who's actually the ghost, and then causes everyone else to start dying Final Destination style. But the one way that you can stop the ghost from from death coming for
From
people...
The curse. From
Yes.
The curse.
Okay, I'm really trying to say this in the exact way that they did. Death is following the spirit that's there. The spirit is gonna show up in class no matter what. So what they do is they pretend one of the living classmates isn't there at all. This makes it seem like the number of people in the class is the right number, and then death leaves them alone. The problem is, the person that the new kid talked to is the person who has designated you're dead for a year. So, now death realizes, oh, too many people in this room. I gotta take some people out. And thus, the chain of events occurs. And we get so many kooky... well, not always kooky, but...
We keep saying Final Destination, but, like, the curse didn't just go after, like, the kids. It went after their families.
Oh,
it went after everyone around them because death is following them.
Yeah.
We have to say Final Destination simply because of how the deaths always occur. It's always like that, like, insane, unpredictable circumstance kind of thing. That, like, 1 in a million accident sort of deal.
Joke's on you, I've never seen Final Destination.
Okay, so the plot of Final Destination is someone sees the future for a half second, realizes that they're about to get on something and die. This is basically the plot of all the movies. They realize they're going to die, and then they don't go on that thing. So Death has been cheated a number of lives, and then Death chases after these teenagers and kills them by, like, randomly throwing buses at them. Or, I know a really good one was when they were, like, behind a truck on the road, and, like, a tree or a log or something came off.
Gav, are you not afraid of logging trucks now?
Dude, we were going to the con, and what did I say? We were behind a truck full of, like, PVC pipes. And I was like, no, I am staying the hell away from... We were going, like, 20 miles an hour. I'm like, I'm staying 100 yards away.
Yeah.
Like, that freaks you out. But yeah, it's essentially a similar kind of, like... These are insane circumstances, and the odds of this happening are very little, but death finds a way. But yeah, so that's essentially the plot. I'm forgetting character names. Who's got character names? Of anyone who survives?
I mean, I guess the main character.
May's the girl.
Yeah, main character, the girl, and probably like a handful of others. We could probably count the number of survivors on one hand by the end of this, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's only like 4.
Yeah.
Considering the last 2 episodes or 3 episodes when they went to the resort or camp or whatever it was, they just kept popping off like flies.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, they went to the shrine to try and, like, undo it.
Yep, and then their hotel burned down.
I will say this, though. You were talking earlier, Al, about, funny deaths. Spoiler alert for everybody watching who hasn't seen it. The one that always gets me the most is the guy that gets killed by the fallen chandelier. It's like, hooray, I survived! Nope.
Yep, that's fun. God, I'm trying to think. There's like...
Or, I mean, there's obviously famous deaths in the show. I mean, even more famous than the umbrella death was probably the teacher that fucking slits his throat in the front of class. That's probably the most famous death of the show.
Also, I gotta ask, because I think we watched the censored version in Club. Has anyone seen the uncensored version?
We definitely did. We had, like, half blackout screen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a censored version.
I have looked up the uncensored version online. It's brutal.
Yeah, because we definitely were watching it earlier today because they didn't, like, black out anything when it went straight through her throat. Like, it just went... And it showed everything, and I was like, I feel like I've seen this censored before, because I don't remember seeing it like this.
Yeah.
Like,
also the beach episode.
The beach episode.
Where that one, they thought they were free.
That's the one where I'm like, that is very Final Destination shit, because it wasn't just the boat. Apparently, it was, like, earlier that day, the kid had tripped down the stairs and, like, had a mild concussion. So he, like, wasn't, like, fully capable of swimming and whatnot, and then he gets hit by the boat.
Yeah, what technically killed him was still something that happened within the limits.
Yeah, they thought, like, oh, if we just, like, leave town for a little while, we'll be safe. Nope. Town came with you.
They literally do the beach episode trope, and they can't even have a fun beach episode because then someone fucking dies.
Yep. Death finds a way.
What gets me every time is that girl coming home and the crane fell off the truck and just fucking...
Yep.
Like, offed her brother.
Like, it's... And like, they're really good at doing that whole, like, oh, we're fine. Like, it's a chandelier death. Oh, we're fine. We'll be fine. And then out of nowhere, hit by a bus. Well, that was Final Destination, but...
Yeah.
Good
times.
Bro, like...
If you got a morbid sense
falling out the window.
Yeah. If you got a morbid sense of humor, this is a great show.
don't even think it needs to be morbid. Like,
It's a little morbid.
It's dark
just
humor.
so
Yeah.
insanely extra. Which is what it was going for. Like, it wanted the shock factor.
You know what I enjoyed? I liked the flashback death, because apparently there is a way to stop the curse. They tried going out to the shrine to make that happen, but they also realized if you find and kill the extra person, death will be satisfied. So, I remember they did, like, the flashback to the original, like, class that figured out that they could do that, and they're, like, going up to the shrine to try to pray things away. It doesn't work, and then some kid is just randomly struck by lightning. It's like, it's just straight out of nowhere. Clear blue skies and then suddenly lightning. I'm like, wow, you're not even being subtle anymore.
I think by killing the original, I think that completely broke the curse.
It broke the curse for them because, like, I guess whenever that class who discovered that way of removing the curse killed someone, the deaths stopped. But then it's like, okay, that causes everyone to go into a frenzy at the end of the series, and there's a number of people trying to kill each other.
I think the difference might have been, like, killing someone versus, like, death taking them, you know?
I get that, but the whole point was finding the person who's not supposed to be there. Because, like, they're doing the spirit does this whole, like, amnesia, you don't know who the person who's not supposed to be there is, and then when the year is over, they disappear, and you forget that they were ever there, so you can't even, like, try to figure out clues to figure out for someone else, hey, look for this kind of person. So you have no idea.
Yeah, no, but I think the ending of the anime was, like, it was completely broken.
I don't know about that, because, like, I feel like if it was completely broken, the class who had discovered, hey, you can kill the person to make death go away, they would have broken it. But they didn't.
I'm checking.
Yeah, double check me on that, because I know I'm misremembering some details, but I'm pretty sure that was an important element. Like, I think next year's class is going to be dealing with this too.
Yeah, because at the end he, like, starts to tell, like, prepare the future generations for it to come.
Well, here's the thing. As long as they don't have some random transfer student who doesn't know the rules come in, because I think up until this class, they've been doing fine. There hasn't been, like, deaths in, like, at least 10 years or something. But then you have one person show up, not know the rules, no one explains it to them, then they talk to the person they're not supposed to talk to. Oh well. I don't know. It's at least interesting, because, like, you're kind of going into some of the yokai kind of stuff, the sort of, like, different sorts of hauntings sort of thing, which is an interesting element. At least for a motivation for we'll call it a ghost or a spirit or whatever. The curse and all that. It's like, it wants to be part of the class. It's kind of different from, I think, like, a lot of the hauntings that you see, like, in, like, Western culture and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool.
Oh.
What's up? You find out?
Okay, the curse wasn't the fault of the student not wanting to leave.
Mm-hmm.
The class kept acting like she was alive.
Oh, those fuckers. And they tethered them to the classroom. Oh, you know what? That is starting to ring a bell now. Okay, so did you find anything on, like, whether the curse was broken?
It says they ended the calamity, but someone did record a message for the future, so unclear.
Well, I would think that the calamity is whatever's happening to you, because, like, once you're past the class, you're in the clear. And, like, that's kind of at least the way that it looked like it kept going. So, I mean, the question would be, in another Season 2, when the next class comes in, do they do the shit? I would hope that they don't. But
I just always assumed that they broke the curse at the end of the series. At least that's how I interpret it.
See, I hear you, but at the same time, it's like, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't the class a couple years back, they figured out how to kill the spirit or whatever, or kill the extra person?
Yes.
Okay, so if they killed the extra person, and the curse didn't go away, then the curse definitely didn't go away this time. I mean, I grant you, I think the reason with some people are remembering it this way is because, like, a lot of, like, Western media would be like, oh, well, if you stop the ghost, curse is broken, blah, 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 happy ending. But I don't know that we have a happy ending in this one.
So I think it's more the fact that once the ghost is dead this time around, no one else will die.
Yeah, they basically staved it off for the rest of the class.
Yeah.
But it'll happen to the next class.
Is it just a random ghost?
I think the general thing is it's the person who they refuse to say died.
It's Misaki.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is saying that the extra they killed was a boy that one time.
I don't think that, like, it's just an extra person. It's not necessarily like a reincarnation of the individual. Because if that were the case...
Then why was it for Koichi? That was actually his aunt.
But was it?
Wasn't she, like, the student teacher for
It was
class?
the teacher's assistant or something. Or, student teacher, you're right. Here's the thing.
She was actually his aunt, and the reason he felt vaguely familiar about the town is because he came to attend her funeral.
Right. So... But here's the thing that we also brought up. It uses, like, some sort of weird memory modification thing so that people don't realize who it is. Like, if I was in a class of 30 people, every year, same group of people, and then suddenly there's a new person, I would be like, oh, who the hell is that person? But if my memory's being modified to remember who this new person is, I'm not going to think that they shouldn't be there. And then, if you then remove all the memories of them after I'm gone, I'm not going to remember who was there that was the problem.
No, it says here, Koichi learns that the extra is Reiko, who was actually murdered in 1996. His memories were altered because of the curse, then returned to him, and he remembers he had come to Yomiyama in 1996 for Reiko's funeral.
Okay.
So I think it's a random ghost. Because the curse started in the 70s.
So you're saying that it's a different ghost every time? Or that the ghost is simply taking on the personas of people who are dead?
No, I think it's a different ghost every time.
So, if we're... Okay, going by that logic, this person was murdered. That's an untimely death. So whoever has an untimely death could be a ghost, and therefore you need to make sure to stop anyone from ever getting murdered or dying in an accident, otherwise they'll become the ghost of the next class. Or a class on the line. Here's the thing, that takes
maybe they cycle through, like, victims.
Maybe.
I mean, they get a bunch of new ones already.
If she died...
They get a bunch every year.
That's true. Well, I thought in recent years they hadn't had as many because they did the you're not here thing.
I mean, that doesn't mean that there weren't more a long time ago.
That's true.
And
maybe this is their way of passing on. Sort of like a purgatory kind of thing. I feel like there's a lot of really interesting possible lore here. But that there has to be a cue or something, because you're saying that the aunt died in, like, the 90s. But this is modern times. Or at least 2010s or something. For the anime, right?
Isn't it, like, early 2000s when this book takes place?
Well, even then, I would think that...
Wait, no. It's like... I want to say it is maybe in the 90s.
It's in the 90s.
Okay, so
yeah, I just looked it up. It's 1998.
Oh, so...
Okay, so she had, like, died 2 years ago then.
Okay, yeah, that's not too long to wait.
I want to say her death had been recent.
I guess yeah, it's not always easy to remember when certain things are when they're, like, essentially meant to be contemporary.
I mean, just because people have cell phones does not mean that it's necessarily, like, within, like, the last couple years.
I didn't remember whether they were, like, oldie-style Nokia bricks or whether they were, like, smartphones. I'm not remembering it that well.
According to the basic outline of the book, the modern story takes place in 98, and the flashback takes place in 1972.
Okay. And how many other calamities had happened between then?
I don't know.
If you look up another list of deaths, it'll tell you. I had it pulled up, but I closed it.
Well, why would you do that? Okay. Alright.
Okay, yeah, it does look like she died because of the curse.
Okay. Oh, so the victims of the curse then perpetuate the curse.
Well, I mean, isn't
Oh,
she
damn.
also technically considered part of the class? Because isn't she, like, the assistant teacher?
Yeah, that's how she became part of the class. But if she was already a victim of the curse, then she became part of the curse and then perpetuated the curse by then rejoining the class when she came back later. It's like recycling.
It always confused me.
I think we got it. I think we nailed it on the head. Maybe. Or we're completely wrong. Or I don't know. I feel like I'm the only one shooting out theories here.
I never really thought too deep about it, to tell you the truth.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
Honestly,
half the fun.
It's one of those things where you kind of have to, like, suspend your disbelief.
I am suspending my disbelief. I'm believing that it happened, but...
Well, more like you don't think about it too hard, is what I'm saying.
No, this is fun. I like the idea of this. This is how you get Ghostbusters, man. Think through the curse and bust it.
No, how you get Ghostbusters is you get 3 comedians from Saturday Night Live come together to form a movie, and you get Ernie Hudson to come together as the 4th member, and they decide to make a movie.
I like my version better.
Okay, and it wasn't the guy's fault for talking to Misaki.
So what was it?
She had started it off by getting in contact with her sister after they were already added to the class rosters together over the summer.
So wait, did the sister die?
Mm-hmm. The sister died. The episode fakes you out and makes you think she's gonna fall from the Ferris wheel, but she died of something in the hospital.
There was a OVA episode that came out after the anime that goes a little bit over their backstory.
Okay. So they were all screwed from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's a guy, he's like another teacher or something, who was part of like the class of 77 or something? Doesn't he take over after the teacher kills himself? Or am I nuts?
I think so.
Yeah, and he was like,
I know.
I'm disconnected from the class itself enough that I should be fine.
Yeah. Okay, so after Reiko's killed again, nobody remembers her except Koichi because he had already broken the memory alteration, and Mei, who could see she was the dead one from the fucking beginning.
Well, way to speak. You know what? Honestly, this is all May's fault.
Eye patch.
Yep.
Yeah, her eye could see the dead.
And she didn't let anybody know.
She's like, okay, that's fine, ignore me.
But then when people started dying, she wasn't like, hey, let's kill the person who's actually causing the death.
I don't think she knew. Like, the reason she was fine being ignored was because she thought it would save her sister.
Okay.
Apparently a lot of lore with another.
The plot is convoluted as all hell.
I don't know, seems pretty straightforward. Bad things happen.
Despite, the silliness of the premise, I actually enjoyed it a lot. Like, I had a lot of fun watching it.
Yeah.
It's an interesting ghost story.
Although, Chibi, you remember when me, you, your roommate, and our club president attempted to watch the live action version of this show?
Oh god, that was so bad.
This has a live action?
We gave up halfway through the movie because it was boring as shit.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Nothing was happening.
They didn't even do some Final Destination shit?
They might have done it at the end, but we didn't want to find out.
Hold up. You're telling me in the first 20 minutes they don't do the umbrella scene?
No. At least not that I can recall.
What was the fucking point of that movie then?
Like, we literally... Like, the movie itself is like an hour and 40 minutes. We gave it like maybe 50 minutes, and it was like all they were doing was talking, like doing nothing but talking. There was no suspense, nothing at all. It was just boring as shit. We we all looked at each other. Nobody was having fun watching it, so we were just like, yeah, we're just going to turn it off.
So you're telling me that for over half the movie, absolutely no one died?
I don't remember. That's
probably
what I'm
not
saying.
now.
But the thing
Holy crap.
is,
You failed the premise more than the Attack on Titan live-action movie.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give it a little caveat here with saying, live-action movies for anime do not get a very big budget, like, at all. So
Dude, you do not have to have a big budget just to put someone in front of an umbrella and make them squirm a little bit for the camera.
yeah, no.
I think I remember correctly, they showed the nurse dying in the elevator in that scene. Otherwise, there was nothing else.
Pancake Face! I forgot about her.
That was boring as shit.
Yeah.
Oh well. Yet another anime movie that didn't work out. That's okay, you can always go back and watch another, or read another. The book's alright. Any other thoughts on this?
The opening's good. We mentioned the opening a few times.
Yeah.
Please go look at the memes. They're fucking hilarious.
They may be old, but they're still fresh. Alright, I think that about sums it up. Are we all pretty much a yay for this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say I'm a light yay.
Fun little turn your brain off kind of thing. Okay, so moving on and kind of going off of that whole, monsters, ghosts, movie tropes. I forget what the whole premise was for deciding on this list, but next week we'll be looking at an anime that some people will argue is not anime, and we'll argue we don't give a shit. We're watching Netflix's Castlevania. Come back for vampires and sorcerers. Honestly, this is just a Dungeons and Dragons thing, isn't it?
Kinda.
A little bit.
Anyway, we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!